Canadian citizens, you must be aware of just how authoritarian our government is getting. I am seeing account after account after account online who is dissident accounts who are criticizing the government for the numerous overreaches, trampling all over our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, who reach a certain threshold. I'm not going to say the exact number, but they reach a certain threshold and then all of a sudden their account is axed. They're gone. You can't access their information anymore. And this is previous. The Bill C-63, the so-called Online Harms Act, has not even passed yet. And the Canadian government is already quelling dissidents in a way that I have never seen before. This is a five-fire alarm. A lot of Canadians are not aware of what is going on. This government is overreaching. The media, the digital media space is one of the few areas that citizens of this country are able to speak out and make people aware of all of the overreach, all of the trampling of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms that Mark Carney and the Liberals are doing. You'll never see it on state-funded media, never see it on CBC, never see it on CTV. They are controlling the means of communication in this country like never before, and they're quelling dissidents. Dissidents are disappearing quietly. I'm noticing account after account after account that criticize the fact that Mark Carney doesn't act as the Prime Minister of Canada. He acts as a senior VP to Brookfield. You want to know why we allowed 800,000 immigrants into the country in the past Q1? I kid you not. You want to know why Canada per capita has allowed the most immigrants into the country in the past decade? This is despite the fact that 75% of Canadians are against that. I'll say that again. Per capita, Canada has allowed the most immigrants into the country of any country in the entire world. This is despite the fact that 75% of Canadians are against it. Our democracy has become a total sham. So that's one example of Carney, the ridiculous policies that Carney is pursuing in a total betrayal of the Canadian people and in service to the global elite. That's one example of what these accounts are talking about. They're also talking about the fact that 25 billion prefab housing. I don't know if you noticed, it's one of the few major projects Carney's got off the ground. You want to know why? Brookfield just announced a deal with Modular. What does Modular do? Prefab housing. It is insider dealing. They are stealing our taxpayer money. Speaking of stealing taxpayer money, $73 billion of Canadians have gone to pay immigrants in the past decade. I kid you not, $73 billion. Brookfield, deforestation policy. You want to know why we're having so many forest fires? Largely due to the deforestation policy that we have in this country. Guess who does the deforestation? It's Brookfield. Issue after issue after issue. But the point of this video is that dissidents in Canada are being silenced and are being removed from social media platforms very quietly. And this is prior to Bill C-63, the so-called Online Harms Act being passed. Can you imagine how they are going to quell dissent once this bill passes? It is going to be Orwell on steroids. Just to give you a quick run through of what Bill C-63 proposes. First and foremost, it proposes something called the creation of a digital safety commission, which will be 10 unelected bureaucrats and an ombudsman. These 10 unelected bureaucrats and an ombudsman will have the power to put any Canadian citizen under house arrest, give them an ankle bracelet, and confiscate any weaponry they may have. You may say, what's needed to convict somebody of this? You know what's needed? Another Canadian citizen needs to report that they believe you are likely to say something hateful in the future. I kid you not. That's all that they require. And then these unelected bureaucrats and an ombudsman can put you under house arrest with an ankle bracelet. How shocking is that? Orwell couldn't even dream this up. This is Orwell on the strongest steroids you've ever seen. This digital safety, if the Digital Safety Commission is created, if Bill C-63, the so-called Online Harms Act, passed, it is the end of free speech in Canada. This is an absolute five-fire alarm. Other key pieces of Bill C-63, the Online Harms Act, which again has not even passed yet. And again, I'm seeing dissident creator after dissident creator being taken off social media platforms. It's clearly taking instruction from the Canadian government to quell dissent. The online space is the main battle space. You'll never see anything on our mainstream media, on CBC, on CTV, criticizing our Canadian government. Never. CBC receives $1.5 billion from our Canadian government. It's all incestuous. It's all it's state propaganda. They will support whatever the Canadian government, no matter how detrimental to the Canadian people it is. So Bill C-63, if passed, allows them to throw a Canadian citizen in prison for life for so-called incitement to genocide. Give a little context. The Humboldt bus driver got 8 years for killing something like 20 Canadian citizens. 8 years in prison. They want to throw you in prison for life for words. These are evil people. They want to throw you in prison for life, or incitement to genocide under Bill C-63 allows them to imprison you for life. You want to see some incitement to genocide? Go check out our Canadian streets where people are getting a red carpet rolled out for them by our police and screaming the most vile stuff you've ever heard in your entire life. If they're going after anybody, it's totally political. We've become a totally two-tiered police system in Canada. It's enough to make you want to throw up. Another piece of Bill C-63 is the expansion of so-called hate speech, long prison terms included under hate speech laws that now expands the definition of hate speech to include the fomentation of vilification and detestation of other people. Can you tell me what even the hell that means? That is, again, going after political dissidents. I guarantee if you criticize the immigration, if you criticize us having the most per capita immigrants, destroying our economy in the past decade, doing more damage than any other policy ever, and they continue it because it gets them and their buddies rich, and they hate us. Get this through your head. Mark Carney and the Liberal government hate us. It allows them to put you in prison for a long period of time for what they are deeming to be hate speech. Canadians, wake up. This bill has not even passed, and they are already quelling dissent in an incredibly disturbing manner. The media won't tell you this. I've reached out. I've tried to tell my story because I see it. I've been messaged about this. I've seen it time and time and time again. People silenced, not allowed to speak their mind, and they're just speaking facts. They're telling you what our government is doing. They're telling you what the mainstream media won't tell you. Bill C-2, Bill C-4. Bill C-2 allows the government. Every Canadian who owns a computer is considered a digital service provider, and the government, if Bill C-2 passes, they can confiscate any communications any Canadian has on digital device in the so-called national security interest. It also allows them to access your mail, access any Canadian's mail. If it's so-called in the national security interest, they are trampling on our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Bill C-4 retroactively absolves the Liberal government of any guilt for any wrongdoing with our data, any misuse of our data dating back to 2000. Only a tyrant would pass a bill like that. Bill C-63, I've already touched on. No Canadian media will tell you about how our Charter of Rights and Freedoms are being trampled on. All we have is the digital space. Canadian patriots, the digital space is the only place that we have to get our message out, and they're attacking us on here. We need to band together. We need to fight back. We're stronger than them, but we have to work cohesively. I'm setting up rallies September 13th, September 27th, Parliament Hill. If you're interested in attending, please let me know. Same day as the UK rally. Tommy Robinson doing a great job organizing there. I want to get tens of thousands of Canadians out. If you're interested in attending, please message me, let me know. Please make sure you're following me on YouTube because YouTube's a little more lax. Please make sure you're following me on YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada2025, youtube.com/@FightForCanada2025. If you're interested, hit the link in my bio on YouTube. Donate, grab some merch. I have some great gear to get our message out stronger. Subscribe to my Substack. But be aware, the Canadian government is coming after us and coming after us hard. Canadian citizens, Canadian patriots need to know what's going on in order to save this beautiful country.